Hi, everyone. No, David has not changed. This is Terry Hamill. All right. You don't know Terry Hamill. Terry Hamill does a massive amount of short sales in San Diego County. The question that I get as a real estate agent all the time is, oh, can I get this short sale? Can I get this foreclosure? What's going on with the foreclosures? What's going on with this? So why not bring out the master of short sales, Terry Hamill? Thank you, Terry.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic. So keeping this is going to be short and sweet, but just want to give you a perspective. I know a lot of things have been changing with things kind of opening back up on foreclosures and miscommunication, all that kind of stuff. But I want to get on you, give your perspective on everything.
Yeah, so a lot of the foreclosure and eviction moratoria pseudo expired on September 30th. When I say pseudo expired, the government's just playing a shell game. They moved it from active, they've now allow active foreclosures and whatnot. But both FHA, which covers obviously FHA loans, covers reverse mortgages. VA loans are also covered under this, as well as Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and USDA loans now all have expanded forbearance programs. So kind of really didn't just change the name of it. Really didn't, aren't really foreclosing. They're allowing people that believe they're still in trouble or may still actually be in trouble to request and get forbearances. So for lack of a better term, it really is a foreclosure moratorium still for those that take the time to apply. Now, the eviction side of it is a little bit different because all the federal loans have anti-eviction protections if they foreclose for tenants and to some extent people living in the house. So really there's still kind of sort of maybe an eviction moratorium also if they take the house. They'll take the house, but they won't be able to evict. The state has it in California has its own eviction rules that are still in place for tenants should the house be foreclosed. So it's a lot of more of the same, but we just changed the name. So honestly, I feel bad. I was telling Vinnie earlier, I feel bad for the lenders in one respect because it's got to be kind of hard if you're a lender not knowing what you can and can't legally do. So what a lot of them are doing is not doing anything. And most of foreclosures we're seeing right now, not all, but a good portion, are second trust deeds and HOAs are the ones that are foreclosing. And it's not a huge volume, but we're seeing those tend to be the ones that are actually taking the step to foreclose right now.
Do you see any? And I know it's hard to predict what's happening because it seems like everything, the finish line keeps getting pushed farther and farther back. It's changed how we call it. I mean, do you see any changes happening in the near future, or what changes do you do?
No, it's everything's kind of up in the air because we've got some other moving parts now that are about to come into play with the debt ceiling and what happens if the debt ceiling doesn't pass. If they don't increase the debt, if the House and Senate don't pass a resolution to increase the debt ceiling, and we have a government shutdown. Historically, what ends up happening is you see the stock market go down, and you see interest rates go up, and you see employers stop hiring. Although I don't know if the hiring thing is going to be a big deal this time because we have so many jobs not filled. So if we've got I'm just making up a number here. This isn't a real number, but if we have 5 million jobs that are outstanding and the debt ceiling doesn't get passed and companies stop hiring some of those people and they're still looking for 2.5 million people, have we really changed the playing field because they can't find the 5 million people or even half that to work to begin with? So I don't know how this is really going to play out. This is one where there's a lot of moving parts other than just COVID that could affect this, and what's going to happen in the future. I will tell you that if we do start seeing a pullback in the stock market and we start seeing interest rates go up, and there's any belief at all at the federal level that this is affecting housing, that we're going to see forbearances get pushed out. We may see full-blown eviction moratoria come back, a whole host of things. Everything's on the playing field now. Things that they would never have done during the last downturn, the feds are more than willing to do now. So anything goes. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where, 3 months from now, we can have a totally different discussion about this.
So now going back with the HOA, I mean, because that's, I think, a misconception of a lot of people, and it's going to be more so for people living in a property, right? And you own a property. The HOA can't foreclose on me, or the second can't foreclose on me because I'm up to date with the first.
Yeah, and they can. Any junior lien holder can. So your second mortgage can foreclose if you're not paying your second mortgage. Your second mortgage can foreclose on you and take title to the house and start an eviction process against you, even if you're current on your first, and throw you out. Evict you out of the property. An HOA can do the same thing. Now, when an HOA evicts in California, there's a little bit different rules. There's a redemption period that you have and whatnot. And if you are facing eviction by an HOA, I highly recommend you speak with a attorney that's versed in this to see what your rights are, how you may be able to redeem, your property and get your property back. There's generally a 90-day window after foreclosure that you've got to pay the back HOA. But the HOA can take your property too. Now, in order for them not to be foreclosed upon, and by way of them, you also, by a senior lien holder, which would be a first or second mortgage, they would have to keep those mortgages current. If they're, if you stop paying and they don't pay, eventually the mortgages senior to the HOA are going to foreclose on the property too, and take it from the HOA.
The biggest thing that you want to remember, and this is something that I get and I tell people, is that if there's equity in the property, right? So because the values have been going up, it's actually more likely that the HOA or the junior liens are going to foreclose on you than less likely, because now they can foreclose on you and pay off the senior lien and take their money, right?
Yeah. So if you get in trouble, one, always call your lenders. Always call your HOA. If you can afford to work out a payment plan with them, do it. Don't stick your head in the sand. Be proactive. A lot of times, especially HOAs, the reason they foreclose is because they can't get the homeowner to even return a phone call or a letter. They just, people get scared and, they're embarrassed. This is a point where if you want to keep your house, swallow your pride. If you've got, an issue and it's been due to COVID or something else, call them. See if you can work a payment plan out with them. If you can't, do not let yourself get foreclosed out of the property and lose your equity. At the very least, sell the property and at least recoup your equity. Don't let someone else steal your equity. I mean, because just don't do it. I mean, you could be talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I've seen it happen.
So if you're in that situation, I mean, of course, talk to an attorney, right? I'm not an attorney. Terry's not an attorney. Not that I know of. I know he reads a lot of books.
No,
he studies a lot. Things might have changed over the time. If every new thing that comes up, don't worry. Terry's already looked into it, read about it, has some information about it, has a thought on it, and he's more than willing to give you his thought.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely, be proactive. Whenever it comes to your mortgage, be proactive. The worst that happens is they say no and you've wasted a little bit of time. But at least if you're going to lose your house, you want to know what your different options are. You don't want a bank or an HOA choosing your only option. If you've got equity, you got the ability to sell, you have no way to bring the mortgages current, and your lien holders are hell bent on foreclosing on you, and they're following the law, but something still can't be worked out. Get a hold of Vinnie and sell the property before someone else takes the equity. Or if you can, work something out. Like I said, call the lenders. I mean, and Vinnie, you've seen it hundreds of times also, where people, the only reason they're losing their house is because they didn't take that step early on and pick up the phone. The people are not going to bite your head off, honestly. And if what are they going to do? They're on the other end of a phone. The worst that happens is they yell at you and you hang up on them.
Exactly.
Big deal. I mean, if it comes to that or saving your house, get yelled at, and they're not going to yell at you. I mean, I very rarely. This isn't 2007, 8, or 9 when the lenders in particular were really vicious. It's not like that anymore. It really isn't.
Take the first step, and you know what?
Yep.
We reached our limit. We try to stay under 10 minutes. I just wanted to bring Terry on here to kind of give the honest facts, the true facts that are out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and maybe in a couple weeks from now, it might be a little different.
Yeah.
This is the facts for the time being. Thank you guys. Please subscribe. Please share. Reach out if you have any questions. Have a great one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.